It could be really interesting because Mike's gonna watch this movie and then maybe he watches all 6 seasons.
Well, I mean, not for like I do know the general concept of The Sopranos. Like I've seen the first like few episodes of the first season. Like I know my parents have watched it, but like I don't know it. Like, you know. But it's gonna be interesting.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm very prepared for some solo references. It's just like obvious.
Well, I
so
mean,
yo, Tony the Sopranos, huh?
And this is when I became a waste manager. Sorry. Yeah. 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 I'll stop clicking. Sorry.
Sorry, my bad.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Hall of Game here on youtube.com/joyclicks. If you are unfamiliar, the Hall of Game is the Hall of Fame for video games that we induct games into. We've been doing it once a quarter. This is the third quarter of the year, judging off the actual year, not like fiscal stuff. My name is Christian Buckley. I think I already said that. I'm joined by the panel, starting in the top left, right next to me, Mike Connors. How are you doing?
I'm doing really, really well. I'm excited to be here talking about some video games. It's going to be a great time.
Hell yeah, I'm quite excited to see... Oh, I mean, I know what everybody brought, but I'm excited to see all of you see what people brought. Beneath him, Jack Martin, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Now, Christian, do you employ that as a strategy? Do you listen and see what people are bringing?
No.
I think he does, Jack.
I was thinking about this myself as well.
Yeah.
No,
I think we need a third-party moderator. We can get one on Fiverr or something.
Okay. So the strategy
we should all place our things in envelopes and then Christian can unseal them.
The thing is, I need to get the PNGs for the stream. I need to get the logos for the nice wooden panel, so I gotta know. And I gotta make sure people don't bring the same game.
That's true. That's true.
Because
I wasn't questioning your ethics. I was just genuinely curious.
Well, I didn't get a journalism degree, Jack, so maybe you should. Beneath me, Omar Nakvi, rounding out the panel. Kevin Diaz is not here, but Omar here. How are you doing?
What's up? I'm doing well. I'm thinking about Bayonetta, and I'm hanging out.
Oh, yeah. So, what we're doing today, normal induction ceremony. Kevin, like I said, is not here. He was unable to make it. The way this is going to function is going to be the same business as usual. We have each prepared a presentation that will be 5 to 6 minutes in length, followed up by a Q&A section to make sure that the other panel members who are not presenting said game can get their concerns quelled, talk to the people who are trying to get their game in, because it's a process, you know? We got some games in the Hall of Game right now. We got a bar. Not just any game can get in. Off the top of your heads, do we all know the games that are in the Hall of Game at the moment?
Oh, yeah.
Let's hear it.
That would be Mario 64 and Wii Sports. And, of course...
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3?
Yep, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. Call of Duty Black Ops? No. Fallout New Vegas and Apex Legends.
Yes.
Those are our inductees.
Yes. So those are the games that define what we think is the best of all time, the GOATs. and we got to make sure whatever we put in tonight gets worked to get in here. It's not an easy process. In terms of the actual process, though, voting is going to operate the same way it normally does. This time, instead of having a 1 vote, a 3 vote, a 5 vote, we've decided that for the sake of hopefully avoiding any ties, like major ties like the first ceremony, we'll give a 1 point and a 3 point to 2 games, since we're selecting between 3 instead of 4. As before, you cannot vote for your own game. If a game does not get in tonight, the individual who brought said game cannot bring it again in the future. And top 2 games get in. Do we have any questions?
I'm good.
No? Okay.
No.
So, by random draw, it has been decided that Jack Martin is first up this time. So, Jack,
Wow.
prepare what you need to. If you need the other panel members to close their eyes or do whatever so you can get your screen share set up,
Yes.
go for it.
I'm going to
Jack, you know your video is off too, right? Or is it just my end?
I can see Jack.
I
I
can't
can
see
see
Jack.
Jack too.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Jack. That's just me.
That is okay.
I got.
I'm gonna check the stream.
I got you now.
Okay.
I got you back.
Sweet. Yes. If you could all avert your eyes.
I'm keeping them open so I can
Briefly.
make sure the formatting works fine. Because
Yeah,
I know.
Christian.
Tell me
You
when
will
to
know.
take them away.
I'm looking at this monitor and I'm playing Cookie Clicker.
Okay. Christian, does that look all good?
I believe it does. Do you have any audio components?
No.
Okay. Then
I'm a simple man.
I think we should be good to go then.
Okay. You can all look.
I will start a timer when you're ready.
You may begin the timer.
Okay.
Okay. It's September. Look, gentlemen, right? We often push for the highest quality goats ever made. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that because I think that's the obvious choice. But I think we should expand the list a little bit to games that aren't necessarily the top 100, aren't necessarily the ones that you think you read about in Edge magazine, right? We also have that subscription. We should be talking about games that have maybe defined periods of times, cemented themselves as classics, and are looked back on fondly, perhaps nostalgically. We should be talking about Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2005, an undeniable GOAT. So when this came out a year after the first game, and it was kind of a dream for Star Wars fans. It had a dedicated campaign that followed clones up to Order 66, featuring like a lot of heartfelt moments, oddly enough, in very great ways. It also had these great modes called Galactic Conquest, where you could spawn in as any faction like the droids or clones or what have you, and take over the galaxy. And then just regular instant action where you could just pop in with maps from planets across the 2 eras at the time. And this game added playable heroes and villains, which was incredible. And at the time, and I think still today, it offered the whole Star Wars package. Just had everything. So whether you play this boots on the ground or in space, which is another thing it had added, just had so much variety. There's factions from the prequels and the OG trilogy, different classes and squad members you could choose from, and if you played well enough, you can unlock different squad members as you progressed. And the quality of each mode was just so good that you couldn't really go wrong with which mode you wanted to play. And this is a game that came out at like such an amazing time for Star Wars, right? This is 2005, so Revenge of the Sith was out, KOTOR 2 came out, Republic Commando was there, Lego Star Wars, and obviously Battlefront 2. And this was another peak for Star Wars, and Battlefront 2 certainly rose to that occasion. And I think of those, this was the most like wide-ranging experience. It just had, you could go all over the Star Wars galaxy. You could play as a bunch of different characters. It was essentially like a Star Wars toy chest, and I think that's why it's remembered so fondly, and that's why I'm bringing it up. It's also incredibly meme-worthy. Look at all these quotes. For the Republic, watch those wrist rockets, just like the simulations, right? It just has all those lines that are still tossed around by fan groups online. Like, if you're in the Facebook group for this, like, you're just going to see that all the time. It's hilarious. And I think it still sort of sticks in the minds of fans today. It's also a benchmark for future Star Wars games, right? Like, not a lot of Star Wars games are as beloved as Battlefront 2 since 2005. There's been a lot of misses. There's been some great stuff, but the reboot, for example, didn't have enough content when it came out, and its sequel had a really terrible launch before finally becoming a great game. And a lot of the reasons why it did become a great game were that some of the modes added to the 2017 game were modeled after the 2005 game. So in terms of like a robust, non-linear game with just like so much variety, I think Battlefront 2 from 2005 is still the king. So it might not be the one you think about when you're thinking holo game, right? You're thinking your Ocarinas at a time, right? You're thinking the games that are so obvious that they should just be in here. But I still think it's a classic, and it warrants a spot on the list. Captures everything about Star Wars. It's fun, it's silly, and it could be enjoyed infinitely. I think it is a downright fun video game, and one of the most memorable of its era. And that is my presentation. Thank you for joining me.
You got about a minute and a half left in case you have any final things to add, or do you want to get straight to the Q&A?
You can get into the Q&A. I'm making up for having too long of presentations, so there we are.
All right. Does anybody have questions? I think we settled on this last time too. The Q&A session, we don't need to put a timer on it. I feel like we can get most of the things out, like a couple questions each. So, anybody got one first?
I have a question.
Yes, Michael.
All right. So, in all transparency, this is a game that I love a lot. But my question for you, Jack, is there are newer versions of this game, kind of, that exist. There are newer versions of the Battlefront series, better graphics. You can say other things about them. Why choose this game over those?
Yes. So I think this game came out at a point in time and it released, and it was just amazing as it was. There are future games like the 2014 Battlefront and the 2017 Battlefront 2 that were good. Like, I think the first Battlefront, the reboot, was good. It wasn't amazing or anything. It was kind of light on content. The second Battlefront, when it launched, was a disaster. And they eventually righted the ship, which I think should be commended. But I think it's very important to point out that that game came out and was just awful. It was like a lot of like not pay to win elements, but you would essentially have to grind a lot or pay money to unlock certain characters. And eventually they did get that game into a really great state. 2020 Battlefront 2 is amazing. But I think this game still captures people in a way that even the rebooted Star Wars Battlefront 2 doesn't. And I think they both offer similar experiences, but Battlefront 2 from 2005 is a classic, and it's still fun to jump into even years later, even if it is slightly outdated, obviously, because it's old. Yes, Omar.
Is there a version of it you like the most? I remember seeing a PSP version of this and kind of that blowing my mind once. But I don't know. What was the one you played the most?
I just played the PS2 version. I never played on PSP, but I thought that was cool. I don't know if there are too many differences between the versions. At least on console and PC, I'm not sure. I know some versions had DLC where you could play as Asajj Ventress, which I thought was cool. But yeah, I'm mostly familiar with the PS2 version, and I will be playing this on backwards compatibility on my Xbox when I eventually get that.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's my question. The game as it stands, also like Mike said, big fan. I grew up with playing this thing. As it stands right now, the only ways I'm pretty sure you can like acquire this legally is on Steam and on Xbox via backwards compatibility or the marketplace, or finding a pre-owned copy of the game. As a kid, I didn't have online multiplayer with this game. It was all couch co-op, but the PC version at the time did have multiplayer, and I'm pretty sure if you had the PS2 adapter thing, you could have done online. The fact that there's no official online support for this game, and to my knowledge, the only way to play online is through the PC version, do you think that hurts the game in its like spectacle or fun levels in terms of like the stories you can make? Because like you said, it's playing with like Star Wars action figures. If you're doing it by yourself, it's not as fun.
I don't know if I agree with that, because this came out in 2005 when like we weren't just playing online, and it was a lot of fun. And yeah, bringing it to modern standards, 15 plus years later, it would be really nice to have this online, and you do have that experience in the 2017 version. But I still think like it's worth bringing in games that might be outdated in that regard. Where yes, this would probably be more fun if this had multiplayer, but at the time it released, it was incredibly fun, and we didn't even think about multiplayer. It was like what you said, jumping in with your friends on co-op. Like I remember jumping in with my friend and doing heroes versus villains on Mos Eisley and just running around as a Sith or like Boba Fett and someone else running as like Jango Fett or whatever. So that multiplayer aspect was always there. But yeah, it is definitely unfortunate that there is not that capability these days. But back in the day, we didn't know any better, and it still was an absolute blast.
For the record, I agree with you. I just had to ask.
It's a good question.
Anybody else have another?
Did you play Battlefront 1?
I did. Yeah, the 2004 one.
Yeah. Do you like this one more than that? I assume you must. But
I do.
Sometimes I hear arguments that people like prefer that one still, and I don't. I never had experience with that one.
I like it. It's it doesn't offer as much. Like you can't play as any Sith or Jedi or anything like that. The maps are a little bit more limited. I don't think there's any like space battles or anything, and that's like kind of half the fun of Battlefront 2 is hopping in a ship and like jumping out in the enemy like hangar and like going up and blowing up the engines from the inside or whatever. So yeah, it's kind of similar to the 2014 Battlefront, where it's kind of just I think lesser than the sequel, but it's still fun.
Cool.
Do you think the lightsaber combat in this game is good?
No. It's not amazing. It's certainly not amazing. It is very much like a hack and slash situation. But if you look at a game like Lego Star Wars, right? Like the old ones, the lightsaber combat isn't good. It's just a means of getting things done. Mm-hmm. And it's still fun. Like even though you're running around and you're just kind of spamming buttons, it's still a blast. And like combining, I think the best part about like the Jedi and the Sith is the force powers and stuff you can use, like flinging people across the map or sucking them to you. I think that's the best part. But yeah, no, you're not getting your Jedi Fallen Order lightsaber combat, unfortunately. But it is one of those things where if you have so many different like character classes, not everyone is going to be like 100%, right? You gotta save your reserves across the field. But still, they're all fun to play.
Follow up to the same question. Do you think the lightsaber combat in this game is better than the lightsaber combat in Battlefront 2 2017?
I feel like... So, admittedly, I have not played this game in a few years, but sure. I have played Battlefront 2 2017 recently. And I feel like, I'm sure Battlefront 2 2017 is better because it is newer. But I feel like it's kind of similar in a lot of ways. Like, hack slash, block... You have like 2 force abilities. Mm. The concept is kind of there, and it's kind of modeled after that in a way. Yeah, I'm sure the newer game has better lightsaber combat.
All right.
Have you seen the video footage of Battlefront 3 when Pandemic was making it?
Yeah, dude.
What did you think about that?
Wish it came out.
Okay.
Remember the whole concept of wanting to have a land battle and then like an air battle and then a space battle like all in one map? That would have been cool.
Did Pandemic make 2 as well? They did this, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Rest in peace.
Do you think the success of this game and the follow-up they did of that Lord of the Rings terrible thing was the success of this game that led to that Lord of the Rings monstrosity the reason that studio closed and we don't have Battlefront 3?
I don't know. This was a pretty gold standard game, so sure, I don't know how that.
I know.
I also don't even know what Lord of the Rings game you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. It seems like you're about to poo-poo on Mercenaries and the Saboteur, Christian.
Oh, Mercenaries too? That's a great game.
Yeah, that was them. I think. Yeah.
Maybe that will see its day in the hall.
Maybe.
Probably not.
Nice. Is that it for questions?
That's all I had.
Cool. All right. Well done, Jack. Good presentation.
Thank you for listening.
The wheel is spinning again. Options are limited. Next up, Omar.
Oh, good. Here we go. I'm gonna share my screen. Hopefully
Okay.
this.
Do we need eyes shut?
All right. No, you can look. So the
Okay.
game I brought today is Cookie Clicker. Is this running all right? Can you see the cookies?
It is now. I will.
All right.
Hold on.
No, that's not the game I brought. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm starting your timer. I mean, I gotta. Put
Oh,
the timer
okay. Sorry. I just
Also,
keep
do we want
picking-
warnings? Do we want warnings? Like a 3-minute or halfway or whatever?
I think I'm okay.
Okay. Just want to let you know. All right. Whenever you're ready.
Do you see this spreadsheet, the risk on here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm ready.
Go for it.
Okay. Hi, I'm Omar. I like risky video games. Games should take risks because fuck profits. Greater risk and greater reward. In previous hologame entries, we had Mario 64, which was a really big risk, taking a 2D beloved franchise and transitioning into 3D when 3D games kind of sucked. Apex Legends, another risk. We pivoted Respawn from making classic shooters to making a battle royale at a time where those were everywhere. Fallout New Vegas, you gave the IP to Obsidian. That was a risk. Wii Sports, you break your TV. That shit was fucked up. I don't know. It was a big risk in a lot of ways. You guys know why. Risk number 5. DICE and hardcore parkour. That's right. Mirror's Edge, baby. This game's so fucking awesome. I got my copy of it right here. This was a risk, I feel like, because this is EA, one of the biggest game companies, letting their Battlefield developer make a fucking 3D platformer. I'm sorry for cussing. I'm a bit passionate. But, like, seriously, it just made something nuts. It's a first-person, like, parkour simulator at a time where this wasn't attempted. The only parkour we had was from Prince of Persia, those few games, and that was third person. But Mirror's Edge shifts that into first person and gives you kind of a new sense of it. It makes you realize how fast and scary it is when you're jumping off of buildings. And nothing is quite as scary as falling to your death, is this panel I picked out here. Here's a panel about speed and momentum, and this is about why third person and first person is such a different thing for this game to me. Is if you've seen like cars or something moving outside on the highway, they might look a little bit slow, but if you're driving that car, you feel a bit fast. Same with the racing game, and you just change the camera perspective. First person always makes stuff feel faster. And in Mirror's Edge, you can go. It feels like you can go real fast for a while. And the game's moveset allows you to really to jump and duck and roll and make sure you're doing things to keep up with the momentum. And when the levels are designed as tightly as they are in this game, nice linear, tight, well-designed levels, you can do some crazy shit. The moves are, you have the jump, slide, and the roll. It's very simple, but easy to master, just like chess. I really like Mirror's Edge too because of the art design. If you see here, we have this panel of this red door, and Mirror's Edge is really good at not subtly guiding you about where to go. It really shows you where to go by having these red accents that I think are kind of beautiful. This game's from 2008. These are some screenshots I took this week when I was just playing it. I got a new monitor. It's a big ultra-wide monitor. It's really awesome. And this is a screenshot I took. Here's another one. You see the red cranes. That means you got to get to those red cranes. That's the visual design of this game. I always thought this was cool too. It's got a really weird like dialogue about like corporate America, where they've got these big buildings of studios in it and a lot of money flying around. Another screenshot I took, noting that it's an Unreal Engine 3 game, which I think is kind of crazy, and also the fact that it's like, I don't know, 13 years old. I think it looks really great still today. Here's another shot of this bag they had. I love this bag. I have it somewhere here, but it was a GameStop pre-order bonus. It's a really great bag. Influence, I think Jack made a great point about these games in the Hollow game not having to be super influential. But I think Mirror's Edge was kind of like really influential, and I don't know if people talk about it enough. But like, I feel like that was the first first person parkour game where you're jumping off buildings and shit, and then it kind of became like a big thing for a while. Like Call of Duty like pivoted to first person parkour jetpack stuff for a while. Titanfall was a cool thing that I wish was bigger. Doom has a double jump and has you going off, climbing up walls and stuff. Ghost Runner is a game I haven't really played, but I know there's parkour stuff in it. Dying Light also there's parkour stuff. I also mentioned here the Mirror's Edge slide, which I think like every first-person game now has a slide in it. I'm pretty sure Mirror's Edge was the first first-person game to have a slide, which seems kind of key now. I don't know. Essential for movement. You can play the game anywhere you want to. Well, not anywhere, but it's on the Xbox Series X and it's 4K and it's on PC as well, which is a great version of that. So yeah, I think that's my presentation. Yeah, thank you everyone for watching.
Very good, Omar.
Thank you. Did I show off my copy? It's right here. This game's awesome.
Oh yeah.
The receipt I have says I got it on July 31st, 2009. Which I think is cool. And I also pre-ordered Arkham Asylum this same day. Any questions?
Sure, yeah. I haven't played Mirror's Edge.
Yeah.
But I like 3D platformers, and my question was going to be, like, I don't know if I can wrap my head around how that would feel good, but then I was thinking about, like, Destiny, there's some platforming in first person. Granted, you have, like, super jumps, and then the examples you gave, like, I guess I can see why that would work, you know? I don't know why it was such a problem for me trying to visualize that, but do you think first person messes with the precision at all, or like anything you'd experience in a 3D platformer where you can like really see everything?
I don't think so. It definitely is a little finicky at first, probably, but once you understand the controls, which I think are pretty simple, you actually have quite a lot of freedom of movement, I find. I think it's as precise. Maybe even more, I don't know. Real life is first person.
Yeah.
Think about that. We're inside of our skulls. Jack, you have a question?
Yes. Joke question and then real question.
All
What's
right.
the main character's name?
Faith Connors?
And how often do they use that for like a double entendre for like leap of faith?
Man, I think
It's
a
like
lot.
It's like, oh, man.
They believe faith. They believe, yeah, they totally do that. Yeah, you're right.
So that's cool. Did you ever
It is
mess around with like the time trials and stuff in this game?
The DLC one, or was the leaderboards, like the actual leaderboards in the game? Yeah, I did. I had a few on PS3. That was the first place I played it. Yeah, there was a couple guys I remember like trying to chase out for a while. Did you?
Yeah, dude, I got the platinum in this game. It's hard.
You did? Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got a platinum on the snow day once.
I think I did most of that leaderboard stuff when they put out a demo for the game back before it was out. I think they added all the leaderboard stuff right there, and that was fun. Yeah, I love leaderboards. I feel like that was probably the they put that in because they didn't have multiplayer or something, and for DICE that was kind of crazy. Yeah. Any other questions? Mike.
I have a question.
Please.
How would you? Well, does this game? I've never played this game, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, does this game have some sort of like story or plot? And how would you like rate that in terms of like making a decision on why you want to bring this to the Hollow game?
The story is a fairly simple one, but I think the world is pretty cool. It's like a kind of a dystopian thing where it's like, honestly, everything is like advertising, and I think everyone's being like, people don't have rights anymore, which is crazy, and you gotta do parkour stuff if you want to express yourself and still be an individual person. And that's cool, but the story's pretty simple. But no, I'm really bringing it for the gameplay, and I honestly just love the art design too. But yeah, It's the movement for me.
It didn't get a sequel. It got a remake, right?
It got a sequel, Mirror's
got a
Edge
sequel.
Catalyst. I believe it's a prequel.
Okay.
Jack is shaking his head, which is also
Yeah,
my
dude.
reaction.
Shit
Okay.
sucks.
They fucked it up. See, because like this game is so good because the levels are all designed linear levels. The Catalyst is like an open world game, so you don't have that handcrafted feel about moving around in it. Like yeah, just doesn't feel the same, which is a bit of a bummer.
How's the music?
Music is so good. That's a great point, Christian. Music's amazing.
Yeah.
It has a really amazing main theme, and some of the like music when shit is going wrong goes awesome. Some like industrial like drum stuff. It's neat. You should play it.
Yeah, I've wanted to. It seems
Yeah.
like I'd like it, but
It looks really great on the Xbox Series S.
oh, is it on Game Pass?
I think so. I think it's
on EA
EA's.
Play, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
play it, yeah.
All right, cool. All right,
Well, yeah. Thank you, everyone.
very good. I will pull up the wheel. Mike, it is between you and me.
True.
Let's see.
I'm ready.
Well, good, because you're next. The wheel just stopped.
Me?
Yep, you're next.
No, I'm kidding. All right. Let's see.
All right.
Hold up. I had an issue with this the last time.
True.
Do I disable my video when you're presenting, by the way, or do I keep it open?
I think you can keep it open.
Okay.
Mike, did you want to share it to me? Because I think that's what we did last time. You shared it to me, and then I clicked through it for you.
Well, yeah.
Okay,
Let's do that. 1 second.
no problem. I'll say I like the picks so far. I think we got a good. I was telling Kevin yesterday because he, like I said, he didn't end up being able to make it, but he gave me his pick yesterday. I won't reveal what it is in case he brings it in the future, but I think across the board, nobody picked like a super obvious thing, which I think is nice. I like that.
That's cool.
Jack, I'm glad in your presentation you led with the idea of like, hey, yeah, it doesn't have to be the obvious ones, because I think that's the spirit of this one.
I
I think
think
so.
we're over and done with that. I think it's time for the silly ones, maybe.
Just you wait. At one point, there's gonna be one where like Metal Gear Solid and Ocarina of Time and Last of Us all show up in the same one.
Yeah.
It's coming.
True.
We're gonna be like, oh man, didn't plan for this one. I guess we'll do this one. I'll make a quick slideshow.
Cool. Okay, so I have Mike's presentation pulled up.
Let's do it.
I will turn on the screen share. And Mike, you just let me know when you need me to click through, and we
All right.
can.
Let me know when we're on the
We are on the
on the
presenting
first slide.
slide.
Should I yet, or are we hiding?
We can see it.
I can see it.
All right. We can all see it, correct?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Gentlemen, people viewing on the internet, my name's Mike Connors, and this is my presentation for the video game that I believe should be inducted into the Joy-Clicks Hall of Game for this time around. So I have a question to pose to all of you. Do you like puzzles? This girl seemingly does like puzzles. Next slide.
You're good.
How about robots? These are all very, very interesting pieces of technology and art right here. What you can go to the next slide now.
Okay. You're good.
What about science fiction? So here are all different science fiction pieces of media. You can go to the next slide. If you like any of these, I have the video game for you. You can go to the next slide. Why Portal 2 should be in the Joy-Clicks Hall of Game. Next slide, please. onto the history and the gameplay of this phenomenal video game. It's a puzzle platform game released in 2011 and developed by and published by Valve. Uh, Hold on, I hear something.
Is everybody still there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Dude, I'm hearing like, what the heck?
You getting feedback?
I was hearing, yeah, I was getting like mad feedback.
Oh wait, like static or just?
No, it's like our recording from Jedi Knights for some reason. I don't know why it's playing in my ear.
That's
right
weird.
now. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, is that on your end? Because I don't think there's anything playing on me.
I have no idea why this is happening right now. Oh, it was on my desktop and it was like playing.
All good.
This really messed it up.
It's all good. You're
Where
good on
was
time. You were on the sequel to Portal.
Okay. So on to the history and gameplay of this wonderful game. Sorry for the hiccup there. It's a puzzle platform game released in 2011, developed and published by Valve. A sequel to the original Portal that was released in 2007. It's in first person, which is, just like the original version. Players solve puzzles by placing portals and teleporting between them. So it has a very good physics system, in my opinion. It has like a huge emphasis on gravity and inertia that feels real. And non-similarly to the first Portal, it has tractor beams, lasers, light bridges, and gels, and that kind of like changed how the game was played and how you interacted with the levels and the puzzles. Gels would have a certain, you can cast certain portals on certain gels and sort of change the way that you play the game. So very interesting. You can go to the next slide. So the story of the game, it takes place after the original Portal game and within the Half-Life universe, which is kind of interesting. You play as the same character as the first one, Chell. Chell moves around in a rundown Aperture Science Center while it's being reconstructed by GLaDOS, which is the AI droid, which is the antagonist of the first game. But Portal 2 sort of opens that concept up and expands upon it, and it's really interesting, like in the ways that it goes and the depths that it goes in telling this very interesting story. It introduces an entirely new enemy. It just sort of gives the original Portal a lot of depth. So you can, next slide, please. When it comes to the puzzles, also known as the test chambers, they're super challenging. Throughout the game, they get harder in difficulty. You solve puzzles outside of the test chambers that the OG Portal kind of made us to, so it sort of goes into different settings, which is really interesting. It's a good storytelling element by having to do all these puzzles in places that you're not familiar as the player. So these new elements made the puzzles kind of harder, and there's also a completely different campaign for, and you can go to the next slide, co-op. So you basically have like an entirely different campaign as you are playing as Atlas and Peabody, which are like two droids that are tasked by GLaDOS to do some testing. So these are like the puzzles. The two of them play off each other and they change how puzzles are solved. So there's like an aspect of teamwork that isn't super prevalent in the first person single player game. So I think it's just personally, I think it's a great addition to the game. I appreciate and enjoy it. And to be honest, like this is probably the aspect of the game that I think about most when I think about Portal 2. So you can go to the next slide. When it comes to Portal's legacy, I think this game was an example of a really solid puzzle game with a captivating story. It was an evolution of the original Portal game and expanded the Half-Life universe in a way that people are still sort of longing for more. But I guess everybody's longing for more in the Half-Life universe. And I think it honestly set a standard for puzzle games, just in the way that like the test chambers are crafted and how it sort of interacts with the story and the setting. So you can go to the next slide. Thank you. Sorry for the technical hiccup halfway through, and the cake is a lie. So I will field any questions from the panel.
That's a quote from Portal 1, Mike.
It's fine. It's the
Perhaps,
same. It's kind of this. It's kind of the same thing.
or perhaps Portal 1 is fonder in your minds?
I think the Portal franchise in general is just fun in my mind, and so when I think of Portal 2, I think of everything Portal. So that includes that line.
I understand.
Does it speak to the quality of the co-op campaign that when I was playing through it in middle school, my friend abandoned me and I was never able to finish it?
I had the same thing happen.
Did you? Did your friend abandon you because it was?
That's Valve's fault, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, did your friend abandon you because it was too difficult, or what was the situation? That's what I need to know.
My
wish I
friend
had an
abandoned
answer.
me and finished it with someone else, so. Oh.
I'm just kidding. I love this game.
Jack, yes.
Mike, this is yet another game that I wanted to bring to the hall. So kudos to you. And thank you. I honestly did not know you played this game. What platform did you play it on?
I played it on the 360, so that was kind of like my main jam. Jack knows my friend Steve. I played it a lot with Steve, the co-op mode. So it has a very high fond memory for me. But yeah, Xbox 360 is what I played it on.
Did the 360 version have like the user created levels, or is that only on Steam?
I believe it did. I don't know actually, but I know that is a part of it. Like personally, I don't remember playing them myself, but like just the fact that they have them is very interesting. And to be honest, something I wanted to include in that presentation, but must have forgot to include. But yeah, I've never played them myself, but I think it's interesting that you can kind of like take that agency and ownership over the game and like play it with your friends. So. Jack, again.
Did you talk about Cave Johnson?
Cave Johnson.
Is that his name?
Are you just?
That's
That's his
Are
name,
you
I think.
school? That's his name, right?
Yeah, the J.K. Simmons. Right?
Are you
Yeah.
schooling me? Are you schooling me right now?
The dude, the narrator guy. When you get down to the basement.
Oh, is that who that is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you totally just schooled me on it, Jack. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted you to talk about him. He's cool.
I don't remember there being much of like a horror or like creepy element to this game, but I know the first one has like those weird panels and stuff. Do you think? I know I haven't played one, but I know two is like very funny. Do you think the more like humorous, more existential stuff in two is better than like the weird, creepy horror stuff in one?
Well, I think that like the humor of Portal 2 is sort of just like something that exists with it like throughout the franchise. Like I would argue that Portal 1 is like humorous in many ways. I don't know. I like are you saying like do you think it's like what's your question really?
Like, do you think is there like a preference to like the view of the universe of like the? I know they both have humor, but I know like at least I don't remember two having like a red writing on the walls behind panels sort of thing.
True. I mean, I think that like 2 also has like some aspects of like kind of horror to it, like when you do sort of leave the test chambers and sort of go off the beaten path, like that does have aspects from what I remember of like being sort of spooky. But yeah, I mean, like to me, like I just think that the fact that this game was able to sort of just expand upon like what the foundation that Portal 1 sort of laid, I find that really I just commend that, and I think it was just a very captivating game, especially since it tied in like a really awesome like co-op mode. So I don't really have a preference either way when it comes to like the humor or the horror of Portal, but I think that this one struck like a pretty good balance.
Are you a big Valve guy, Mike?
Not really, honestly. I've never played Half-Life. I've only played Portal, but it's been a while since I've played Portal 2, to be quite honest.
I like the. You played on the 360, right? I don't know if you remember when it came out like on Steam, but like for like a month, it was like a bunch of people like trying to make it come out faster, and the whole Steam was like covered in potato memes. I'll never forget the time.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of bad things to say about Portal 2. I'm sorry. I can't think of anything.
No bad things exist about the game.
No.
Is Wheatley funny?
I think so. Some people don't.
I like.
think so.
I feel like Portal 1 was much more replayable for me because I think at 2, with all the writing in it, the jokes are like, you know, I think I just know them all at this point. But yeah, no, I still like 2 quite a bit.
Well,
Sorry, I really wanted to fill in Christian's bad spot because he couldn't find anything bad to say about it. I didn't mean to bring it down.
Trying to say Steven Merchant isn't funny.
I think he's, I don't know, I've kind of gone off of the whole like Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant humor recently. I don't know. I did think it was very funny though at the time, I will say.
no, yeah, there were tons of memes for this game. It blew
Yeah.
up. There's still like loads and loads of like Portal. I remember just being like a huge internet moment too. So like,
It was the game that made Reddit.
is it?
I feel like Reddit was half Portal memes for a while. I don't know.
All right. Well, good job, Mike.
Great job, Mike. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, man.
All right. Let me set mine up.
Did you play Fallout New Vegas on PC or 360, by the way?
Originally, I played it on 360.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just these picks make me think you're a big PC guy. And I don't know.
No.
Yeah. That's good.
I mean, I have a PC, but not
Cool.
back in the day.
All right.
Like was in the 360 trenches back in the day, middle school to high school.
Yeah.
I think I'm all good. I'll set up a timer and get my screen share going. Okay. Close your eyes if you will. Okay, I think things are good. I'm just checking real quick. You can open your eyes. Just want to make sure everything looks fine. Can you see it fine, everybody?
I'm looking at your Discord.
Oh, hold
Does it say stream go?
Hold on. I picked the wrong screen share. My bad.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I could hear myself echo for a second there, I think.
Okay. Now you should be able to see it. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Everyone can see fine?
Yep.
Alright, cool.
Yep.
Starting the timer now. Like Jack, I think it's time to get some stuff in there that's not an obvious pick. I want to talk about a game that knows pain and pleasure for gamers. I have a question for all of you on the panel. If your mic's muted, open it up. What do all these games have in common? Tetris, Halo, Mario 64, Hitman, Batman Arkham Asylum. The list can go on and on, but what do all these games share? I need an answer. Anything. Any guess?
Puzzles?
Maybe. Would you consider death and failing a puzzle, Jack?
Yeah, sure.
Fail states. They all have game over screens. Why are we talking about that? Games are supposed to be fun. It's annoying when we die. I think there's a rare game that can educate you when you die, and the game I want to talk about today is not a Souls game. It is Hades. A game about death and death being rewarding. What is Hades? It's a roguelike. Doesn't that suck? Is that a horrible genre? No, actually, it's not, but I understand the reason and hesitation if you never played one, because I never liked them before this. But it goes beyond just the genre, and I think a lot of that is because of the context. The main character, Zagreus, his goal is to escape the underworld. He's the son of Hades. He's immortal, so death isn't really death. It's just sort of a refresh. It's like getting blackout and then waking up the next day and like having to do it all over again. dying returns you to your room in the underworld, which is a very cold, but like it's like a mansion. You know how like there's like snotty rich kids in a lot of movies and media that like, oh, my life's so hard, but they have very, very cushy lives. That's kind of Zagreus, except his family is the Greek pantheon, so things get a little traumatic. There is RNG like other roguelikes, but the context again I think makes it more palatable. Tartarus is a maze of the underworld. In Greek mythology, it's all random. So it makes sense that every time you try to escape the underworld, the rooms are in a different order, randomly laid out. It doesn't feel like it's not well designed because in your head it should be random every time. And each run you do, you get different boons from the Pantheon. So everybody in the Greek Pantheon, randomly at the end of a room, they can give you a boon that is basically a stat buff, a power that will help you in your run. The presentation also, I think, carries Hades a lot. It makes Greek mythology exciting and new and surprising. The first run I did of this game, every time I met a new character, I was blown away just by the voice direction, the art, and I think a lot of that is refreshing in games because we see Greek myth all the time in gaming, and Hades is the most original take on that mythology I've ever seen. The music is a combination of heavy metal and rock, but it still sounds like it's Greek. Darren Korb is the composer of the game. I believe he's worked with Supergiant a lot in the past. And also these character designs. Like, I like this because I don't, with the exception of a couple, I don't think you can immediately say which one is which, right? In terms of, oh, this is obviously that person from the Pantheon. I think that just is a credit to making these characters unique. Gameplay-wise, like I said, you're escaping hell. The underworld, you got to go through 4 regions: Tartarus, Asphodel, Elysium. You see here, art design is amazing, very well spread out and diverse. Also, there is the Temple of Styx, where you have to please your pet dog Cerberus, you know, because it's the underworld. Yes, you can pet Cerberus. This should have been a Game of the Year contender. It was. Unlike other roguelikes, though, Hades respects your time. There's a lot of choice. And like I said at the beginning, death is made rewarding because unlike roguelikes that I've been aware of, there's a heavy narrative element to Hades that accounts for the fact that you're dying and doing the same thing over and over. Excuse me. There's also a really big mystery that you peel back as you die. So like every time you do die, it's like, man, I almost got to the end, but now I can't wait to see what all these characters back home are going to say about my lineage, what's going on with my dad. If you're trying to get close with some people, maybe you can get a conversation with them. It's very, very exciting, and it makes you want to go back after you die. Replay-wise, there's multiple endings you get based off of how many times you run the game. There's a lot of different boons. Like I said, there's multiple for each member of the Greek Pantheon. 6 different weapons. Some of them are like spear. That's my favorite. Sword, shield, there's a bow. All of them play very differently. Spear has some good range, and it's melee. But bow is basically a shoot 'em up. Shield is a lot about parrying and like trying to bounce things off like a Captain America. It's fun. In closing, Hades was a 2020 Game of the Year frontrunner in my personal top 3 of the year. It made me like a genre that every time a game was like, in this roguelike, I immediately checked out. It's a very horny game, if that matters. The gold standard, I think, of how to run an early access campaign is not Fortnite. I think it's Hades, because this game was in early access for a while, and it launched officially last year. And now it's timely. You can play it on multiple platforms. Before it was PC for early access. Last year it was Switch. But now it's playable on PS4, PS5, Xbox, and it's on Game Pass. Thank you for your time. Go try and kill Hades. It's a fun game.
Excellent choice. I genuinely think this is a trick on me because all of you chose games in my top 50. So this is an impossible decision.
All right. Questions. I will take any and every question you throw my way.
Is this a perfect game, Christian?
I think there is no thing in Hades that I don't like. Granted, this is the first game I've really actually sank time into in the roguelike genre. I have like 25 hours, I think, in Hades. One successful run. But I think there's never really anything that bothers me too much. Like, I do like there is that randomness element to it, which could turn people off still. But I think there is something fun of, especially early hours, if your first boon right when you leave is a god that you don't work with a lot, trying to make that work into your playstyle or maybe finding new success that way can be hit or miss. But when you do get the god, you're like, oh, I rock with you a lot. I give you a lot of nectar. You're best buds with me. We're going to have a good time running this run. But other than that, yeah, I guess the only flaws you could say would maybe be stuff that's just of the genre, I guess, depending on your taste.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of questions, but I don't really got any. Game looks cool. You know, Supergiant used to be in Boston, and they moved to California like cowards.
Damn.
I think that's a point against your point. Sorry. I can't support this nonsense.
Yeah. I mean, I guess to maybe just do a positive spin on that, Supergiant began, you know, like Bastion was one of the first indie games that really blew up. I think they did Transistor also.
They sure did.
Hades is kind of like, they also did Pyre, but Hades is kind of like the ultimate Supergiant game based off of like my experience I have with their other titles, where like you get some of the elements from each one, right? Like back when they started in Boston, when they were just a little studio making Bastion, the narrator was a big deal. The camera angle in most of their games is consistent. The story stuff in Pyre, Transistor looks very fast-paced like Hades is, so I think Hades is kind of just like the perfect Supergiant game, and maybe we only would have gotten it since they moved to California.
Yo, fuck California.
I think we all
That's
agree
a
on
good
that.
point. Yeah.
How heavy? I mean, you touched upon it, but how heavy are the Greek influences?
So it's rooted in Greek myth, right? Like every character is somebody you could look up in a textbook and you'd have their story. But I think the way it spins it makes it really fun and surprising still. So like all the stuff is there. Like Sisyphus you can find him there, and he's pushing the boulder up. He's taking a break. You can talk to him. Like I said, you got Cerberus. He's like guarding the entrance to the underworld. That is like your final thing you have to pass through, because you're going out, not in. There's like the River Styx. There's the Furies. There's all three sisters. They each have their own personalities. So like, it's pretty faithful to like the general beats of Greek mythology, but I like that it's still surprising because of the twist of style they put on it.
I'm a devout Catholic.
My name's Christian Omar.
Okay, I guess this is a good counterpoint. I wanted to touch briefly on you saying the game was horny.
Oh yeah.
Is that a point in favor?
Depends on who you ask.
All right, I'm asking you.
I think yeah.
Are you pro horny, Christian?
Yeah, but it works.
All right.
Because the thing is, it's like everybody's horny. It's not just like you're walking
Some people
up
have to repress their emotions, Christian.
No, it's fair. I'm just saying, like, it's not like every single, like, obviously, like, Aphrodite's in the game. That's her whole thing. But, like,
yeah, every
every single person who's played this game, when they met one of these versions of one of the Greek gods, they were like a moment, like, I'm at least from who I've talked to, every single person was like,
yeah, no, I saw games Twitter going crazy with the straight up exposing themselves as horn dogs when this game was out last year.
yeah,
Which is cool.
yeah. I put Meg in the end for a reason.
I've never been horny before. You did what? Meg in the end?
What?
What? Never mind.
At the end of the PowerPoint, Meg is in there.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
Sweet. Do you listen to the
I
soundtrack?
have a last.
Mike first. What's up?
No, did you? Oh, okay. This is kind of a joke question, so you'll very quickly be able to ask yours, Omar. But
Sure.
Why do you like dying in video games so much, though?
I think specifically with Hades, like I'm saying, I never feel, I guess like I never feel like I'm frustrated. It's like damn. But because there are so many things going for me outside of just like the trying to be better every time I go out and like play the game, I'm rewarded with talking to characters I care about and learning more about the mysteries and lore. And like, I guess maybe I am frustrated, but when I walk out of the pool of blood into the court of Hades, I'm like, I mean, I can talk to Achilles now, so that's nice. I can see what's up with him. I can talk to my fake mom. I can talk to Medusa, the maid of the building, which is just Medusa. Or I can pet Cerberus, like that gif. So, petting a dog is just very calming, you know? Like, it's just a very easy thing after a brutal death right at the edge of the game being finished.
You get those DualSense adaptive triggers too when you pet Cerberus on the PS5, so you feel his purrs.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Omar, what was your question?
My question was, how is the soundtrack in terms of like listenability? Like, is it like a album you throw on like a Spotify kind of thing? Because I used to listen to a lot of the Bastion and Transistor soundtracks a lot, which I thought were great at just being like, just sounding like proper albums, I guess.
Yeah, so I actually, Hades launched like a few days ago. Like, it was the 1 year anniversary of 1.0. And when I saw that, I threw the soundtrack on YouTube, and I was editing like for a couple hours, and I was just letting the whole thing play, because there is that heavy metal stuff, which is really, really good in some of the boss fights. Like, there's a specific one that plays for when you hit a boss, and it's really great. But there is also some of those more chill, toned back ones. Like, I love the kind of like haunting sort of one they have for Hades Court, and then when you're in like the shop midway through a run, that's like a chill track too. So like, I do think there's a good variety here, and it has that very distinct electric Greek sound that I don't understand how it works, but I love it.
Cool. Did Hercules, the Disney movie, have any guitars in it?
No, Hercules did more like a choir thing.
I see.
And I think that's also a really good example, because I love Hercules, and maybe this is why it's like fun to see more modern takes on the Greek mythology.
I suppose there are no guitars in God of War, are there?
No. Just Kratos. Just
some cool
just
guitars
Kratos.
in Halo, though.
Yeah, there's some cool guitars in Halo.
Yeah.
John Mayer licking the frets.
Yeah.
Another day.
In Halo?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, I found that out.
Did I ever say that? Did I ever tell you this? He did. He loved Halo 1 so much. Like, this is like room for squares, John Mayer era. So no one knew that he was this gamer, right? He loved Halo 1 and reached out to Bungie. Was like, "Hey, I want to play guitar in your next game, but like you don't have to credit me. Like, just put my gamer tag in the credits so I can point it out to my friends." And he's on this. He's on like a song that's like in the game. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know like where he's playing, but he's shredding somewhere in Halo 2.
That's awesome.
Halo's gonna have its day. Don't worry. I know we all like it now. So you'll get in.
I've always liked it, Christian.
Oh, I know you have. Well, cool. Any other questions, or are we good to transition to voting? We good?
Yeah, we're good. I'm good.
Cool. So once again, Omar brought Mirror's Edge, Mike brought Portal 2, Jack brought Star Wars Battlefront 2 2005, and Christian brought Hades. So the way this is going to work is, as usual, in the order of presentation. So that would be Jack, Omar, Mike, me. Everybody will DM me votes. I will tally. Top 2 get in. Should we do a 5 and a 3? I feel like I'm worried about the 1 and 3 math. Or am I being dumb?
You should. Well, if we get in a problem, we can figure it out.
Okay,
I
okay,
guess. But,
So
can I actually ask one more Hades point? I'm sorry, is on my mind. I'm very sorry, but like, is it just the story stuff that sets it apart from different other roguelikes? Is that the hook that makes dying so much better in those than other roguelikes?
I think the story carries it a lot for me because I'm interested in the characters, but there's also like permanent progression that you're unlocking. It's not like from what I know of, like a Spelunky or a Binding of Isaac or a Rogue Legacy where it's like, hey, you die, you start from scratch again, and you just got nothing to go on. It's like, in your room you have that mirror where you could invest a resource in to like get permanent buffs for your attacks, permanent rarity increases for the boons you get, and it just, like I said, it rewards your time because it doesn't wipe a clean slate every time, but it is still in the genre. So
Okay.
good question.
Sorry. Thank you. Yeah.
So yeah, we want to just stick with 1 and 3, or do we want to do 3 and 5? I think 3 and 5 is like the is just a safe bet, you know?
Yeah,
Sure, go
let's do
for it.
that.
Okay.
I like big
One-
numbers.
One seems like it could have some issues.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we will give a 5 point to the game you think deserves to get in the most, based off of whatever you're judging on, your experience, the presentation, whatever. And 3 points to your second pick. Again, can't vote for your own. Top 2 get in. So, Jack, you are voting first. So if everybody could deafen, I will highlight Jack, or just take your headphones off. I will highlight you, Jack. DM me your points and let me know when you're good to move on to the next person.
Gotcha.
Cool.
Okay. This is awful because genuinely, like I said, I feel like they've played a trick on me because all of these games are in my top 50. I've wanted to bring Portal 2 for a really long time. So, that I'm voting for that. I really like the trend of us going to weird games. So I think my rationale here is to put Mirror's Edge with the 5-point spot because I love that game and I need to give it as much support as I can. And then put Portal 2 with the 3-point spot. I love Hades. I just platinumed it. In fact, I have the platinum in all of these games. Some of them are very difficult. Man, this is hard. But I'm going to go Mirror's Edge, 5 points. Portal 2, 3 points. If I could vote for Hades, I would totally vote for Hades. But I can't do it. I genuinely hope no one votes for my game because I want these 2 games in there. So there it is. I'm texting Christian, and I'm going to text the group that I'm all set.
Hello. Is it my time? Me? It's
You're
Omar? Okay, thank you. I would like to give the 5 points to Star Wars Battlefront 2 from Jack. I played that game like twice, but that game's fun. It's a fun game. It's stupid. I don't know. Star Wars. I think it's cool. Great presentation by Jack. Then I'd like to give the 3 points to Portal 2 from Mike. Portal 2 is a game I really loved at the time, but recently I kind of am a bit more cool on it, and I might be more of a. I think I'm a Portal 1 person. I think that's what I found out. But I can't lie, the puzzle design of Portal 2 was pretty tremendous. It's a great set of levels, and I love the art design that kind of plant and foresty, jungly aperture science is real great. And I do quite like what they did with GLaDOS there, even if I don't love what they did with Wheatley, and maybe the Cave Johnson memes kind of got to me in a way that made me kind of hate him at this point. The GLaDOS's storyline in that game is pretty great, and I like Shell, and the ending is perfect. And Mike did a great job presenting it. So yeah, that's me. So yeah, that's 5 points for Battlefront 2 and 3 points for Portal 2. I like sequels. All right, Metal Gear Solid 2 will come here one day. I'm gonna say all good.
All right. So, got 3 different options here. Christian with Hades, Jack with Battlefront 2, and Omar with Mirror's Edge. Honestly, I've never played Hades. Christian had given a pretty decent presentation, I believe, and sort of sold me on his opinion that roguelike was worth it. But it's hard because I have like played Mirror's Edge in demos and stuff, and a few levels here and there, and I know that's like a pretty fun game for me and quite revolutionary, as Omar pointed out. in his presentation when it comes to mobility and mechanics for a first-person perspective. In Battlefront 2, it's almost like I have to put that as number one, just by virtue of the game, and the fact that it's Star Wars. So I think when it comes down to it, though I believe Christian did give a pretty good presentation, I'd have to give it 5 points to Battlefront 2 and 3 points to Mirror's Edge. So that's me.
Okay. It's my turn to vote. First up, like I said, I like all the picks. I'm glad we got picks in that aren't all obvious ones. I thought everybody gave great presentations. Everybody spoke from the heart. I think... Interesting. Where should I put my points? Let's just run through. Battlefront, obviously I love. Mirror's Edge, I think I'd love. Portal 2 is also very good. I think the way it'll shake out, I thought Omar gave a really good presentation, and kind of sold me on all my fears for that game. Battlefront 2 I love, but I don't know if it's like super worth. Let me just be completely straight up. Portal 2 is getting 5. That game is fantastic. Portal 2 is getting 5 votes, and my 3 between Battlefront 2 and Mirror's Edge. Like, Battlefront 2 is really good. I have a lot of nostalgia for it. It's a really great game. Mirror's Edge was kind of like doing stuff, though, you know? So it hurts to vote against Star Wars, but I think I'll vote... Yeah, 5 for Portal 2 and 3 for Mirror's Edge. Okay, yeah, that's locked in. I gotta tally these, but we will reconvene. How do I do this? There we go. Okay. Okay. I just have to tally quickly.
Sure.
But I think we should be good in just a few moments. So, any random stuff? I saw, Jack, the tweet you just sent me, and Kevin sent me also. Initiative is working with Crystal Dynamics for Perfect Dark.
Oh,
wild.
The Square?
Mm-hmm.
Crystal?
Mm-hmm.
How does that work?
Yeah. That's such a first party Xbox working with a Square Enix developer.
I know I think Halo Wars 2 was made by Creative Assembly from Sega, which was kind of weird.
Mm.
I guess this is the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, what's happened to Avengers?
That was my thought too, man.
Yeah. Of course, that's what Christian and I think.
Look, I'm excited for Perfect Dark for sure, but
yeah, they have. It sounds like they're in a supportive role, but I don't know. That's interesting news. Didn't quite see that one coming. Also, I genuinely hoped none of you voted for my game because I want the other games to be in the hall.
Okay, so I think we have the tallies. I'm just gonna do a quick recount.
It was 5 and 3 points, right?
Yes, it was 5 and 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just make sure this math is correct.
Jack, good. Nice Red Sox hat. I've been wearing a Yankees hat the entire time, so we have dueling fandoms here.
Yep, I'm seeing the Red Sox Yankees on Saturday.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Oh yeah.
You gonna get yourself a Fenway Frank?
Fuck yeah, bro. A fucking Lansdowne Street.
Sweet. I should have came back at you with a Boston accent myself, but I don't have one, truthfully.
Okay. Okay. Well, sad news.
Is there a
the
tie?
gate. No, there's no tie.
Oh.
Well, we'll get there.
Oh boy.
Sad news. Getting 0 votes in last place. Hades, R.I.P.
Damn.
I get it. It's hard to sell new games. I get it. It's fine.
Hades is a fucking 10 out of 10.
That's why I thought it would work. You know, I thought that was my goal. I thought I could do that, but maybe in 10 years, once we're all nostalgic for Hades, it'll work.
I'm sorry, Christian.
It's okay.
There is the nostalgia factor. You have to.
No, you're right. You're right. Okay, so we have a tie for first place. So both those games are getting in. So I'll give you one of the games that got in first, and then I'll do between the final two. So with 11 votes, the first game in to the Hall of Game fall is Portal 2. Good job, Mike. Well
Even
fought.
with the technical difficulty, I'm very happy that I was able to convince you all.
Hell yeah. So it's coming down to Star Wars Battlefront 2 from 2005 and Mirror's Edge from the 360 generation. I don't know what year.
2008.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So it came down to a vote of 11 to 10. So there was the tie was 11. Coming in second place, or tie for first, whatever. The second inductee is Mirror's Edge. Good job, Omar.
Really?
Yeah.
That really? It's not a tie? I'm confused.
No, so there was 2 games got 11, so they both got.
Oh.
We were putting 2 in. The top
Okay.
2 would just
I'm
be
gonna
this,
cry.
like they're both 11, you know, so that they got the most. So congratulations,
Thank
Mike
you.
and Omar, 2 new inductees into the
Good
Hall
job,
of Game.
Mike.
Hell yeah.
Congratulations.
Like you too. You too, sir. Man, Mirror's Edge is so great.
This is
I
think
the-
you're
I
wrong.
gotta say, that is like the last game I would have expected to show up here, and it is like undeniably a wrench in the whole system here, and I'm very glad that's in. That was my 5 point.
I was hoping you'd be a fan, Jack, because I know you got like you're a dice fan of some sort. I know you
Oh,
like
yeah,
Bad
love
Company
dice.
too, so I was like, okay,
Oh, yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, Omar, I'm gonna download that tonight. I'm probably not playing it
Yeah.
tonight, but I'll download it. I know it's short too,
I
right?
hope you love it, man. It's very short. Yeah,
Very quick.
it really is a 3D platformer. Like I've been replaying it.
That's the thing that stuck with me. That's why I was like, okay.
Yeah. It's odd.
Does everybody want to say what they gave their points to, and then we can wrap up?
Sure.
Sounds good.
Jack.
So yeah, like I said, I gave my 5 point to Mirror's Edge. That game has a fucking weird nostalgia for me that I love, like the minimalist colors, running through like the indoor environments and like going like across like steam pipes and stuff that are like blue or green. It's so cool. And that was one of those games where I played like a demo of like hours of that demo, and then I was like, I guess I should get this game. So I did, and it's amazing. And then my 3-pointer was Portal 2, which is a game that I've wanted to bring up, but I want to elevate Mirror's Edge because I thought that was quite the choice. But Portal 2's, I think that's in my top 15 of all time. So amazing game.
Very nice. Who is next? Was it Omar?
I think it's me.
Yeah. Okay. What'd you pick?
I gave my 5-pointer to Battlefront 2 after Jack said, I hope no one voted for Battlefront. Well, I did it before he said, I hope no one voted for Battlefront 2. But I had to give it. I don't know. I just really respect that choice and how much dumb fun that game kind of was. I think that's a cool pick. And I then gave my 3 points to Mike for Portal. I did say I feel like I'm becoming more of a Portal 1 over Portal 2 person in recent years, but I can't deny Portal 2 was quite the launch experience. Even in a year where Skyrim came out, I think Portal 2's launch might be the most memorable to me. But yeah, great pick. And presentations, both of you. It was awesome.
Mike, what did you pick?
Yeah, I'd like to say everybody had really awesome presentations for sure. But I gave my 3 points to Mirror's Edge. I thought Omar, you had a good presentation, and I haven't played this game fully, like through the campaign at all, but as I mentioned while we were all deafened, that like I had played the demo, so it's kind of funny that you brought that up, Jack, for like a lot. And then also, just like I've played it with like at friends' houses and stuff growing up. So I do enjoy that game a lot, so I gave it 3 points. And then because this shouldn't really be that surprising to anybody, but I gave my 5 points to Star Wars Battlefront 2. Just because that game is just very nostalgic for me. I think it sort of set the standard, like Jack said, to a lot of other Star Wars games, and we wouldn't have the Battlefront 2 that DICE made without that game. So, yeah, maybe that's just me being a shill, but those are my votes.
My votes check out. Like Mike said, everybody. I thought, great job, everybody. I gave 5 to Portal 2 because that was my first Valve game, and I genuinely cannot think of any negatives. Like, I really like puzzle games when they're clever like that, I guess. So Portal 2 is sort of the birth of that for me. And Mike, great presentation. Also, you highlighted like all the things I liked about the game. And then the 3, I was between Portal 2 and Battlefront, and I want to live in a world where Battlefront 2 on the PS2 is in the Hall of Game. I want that world, and I think we can get there. But Omar, I think the way you position Mirror's Edge as like a sort of like a sleeper innovator for like an entire genre, like I never thought about it that way, and you really did reverse me on my one thing I could only think of, which was like first-person platforming, but you gave a great defense for it, so you earned it. Very good presentation.
Thank you.
So, there we go, everybody. That's the third ceremony. Once again, the Hall of Game as it stands is Mario 64, Wii Sports, Fallout New Vegas, Apex Legends, Mirror's Edge, and Portal 2.
We got 2 EA games in there now.
We do.
3 if you count Portal 2, actually. Because that was, like, distributed by EA, I guess.
Oh my god.
Was it? I don't even know.
I think it was.
We're going to have
I think
a lot of EA games in this thing, I can already tell.
yeah.
Yeah.
I almost brought
Dead Space
Titanfall.
next. Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be in at some point.
Oh,
or
wait.
another.
Mhm.
I think this is my favorite quarter so far of the games we've inducted. What, like Mirror's Edge and Portal 2? Come on, that's good stuff.
Yeah. I'm excited to add them to the graphic. Because, question for you guys, the way I normally do the panels of like the 2 game pairings for like each quarter, the one that got the most votes is like the higher level one, and then the one that got the second was like slightly like offset. Do I just keep up with that, or is it like a parallel now? Stick with the aesthetic.
Doesn't matter. You
It's up to your discretion.
Okay,
It doesn't
Yeah.
really matter.
Okay. I just want to respect the tie. I want to respect the fact that there's no clear winner. They're both winners, you know?
I know there was no bad intent.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you switch it around.
Sure. Well, yeah. Before we wrap up, anybody, we can go around, plug what you want to plug, shout out, anything. We'll just go clockwise. So, Omar, what's up? What do you want to shout out?
Sure. I'm here full-time JoyClicks. Yeah. You can, I guess there's a video of us reacting to the Nintendo Direct, which should be fun at some point. You can watch me kind of break down over Bayonetta 3, I guess. So, yeah, that's it.
Very nice. Jack, what about you?
You can follow me on Twitter at FascinatedJack. Christian and I will be discussing this Crystal Dynamics news that we just talked about, which is weird and interesting. So we have a podcast called Excelsior. It's all about Marvel's Avengers. And we're also running through every Spider-Man/Spider-Man related movie leading up to No Way Home in December. It's going to be great and awful at the same time, and I'm looking forward to it. So if you want to check out those movies with us week by week as we're leading up to it, you can do so on Excelsior via JoyClicks. So it's going to be a time.
Nice. Mike, let's hear it.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Mike P. Connors. Christian and I also have a show here on JoyClicks called Jedi Knights. We talk about Star Wars news, all things Star Wars. For those of you interested in Star Wars Visions, I'm sure Christian and I will be talking about that pretty soon. And we're currently in the middle of a rewatch of all 9 of the Star Wars films. So we just covered Episode 1, Phantom Menace. Watch along with us. We will be we'll be recording next week our reactions to Episode 2, Attack the Clones. So definitely check us out.
Oh, yeah. And if you want to check anything out that I'm doing in the meantime, at Chun2D2 is where you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. Here, youtube.com/joyclicks for all the stuff we've been talking about already. If you want to support JoyClicks, you can check out patreon.com/joyclicks. There's a couple tiers there to help out the shows. And yeah, links for everybody and all the shows we talked about will be in the description of the VOD of this video. I'll throw them up there tonight. And at JoyClicks on Twitter, you can see the updated panel for all the hologames and the ever-growing graphic of main characters that will be featured, updated tonight, with Faith and Shell. Right? Those are the characters?
Yep.
Yo, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Iconic.
Is there like a good PNG of Chill? Because I know like
There's one in my
is there
mind.
a good render? Yeah.
There's one in my mind. Yeah, definitely.
Like the one of her like sprinting through like the portal holding the gun. That's a thing, right? That's not a box
Sure.
art.
Yeah.
It's gotta be around. Yeah.
So, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. We'll be back for the final Hall of Game ceremony of the year, probably early December. And yeah, we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.